Here we go then. Briar Hill takes stage now for the next 4 minutes. Peter O'Hare calls them home.
The first of 12 flights in the Supporters Club AGM and Table Quiz Maiden Hurl. Briar Hill towards the inside, disputes the early lead. Foss Island, Keane in the centre, Behemoth close up the outside. They show in front of Molly Connors as they near their first flight. Briar Hill jumped it well on the inside, leads from Behemoth. Just behind them is Molly Connors, improving up towards the outside. Just behind them, El Sorrow. Foss Island close on the outside. They're ahead of Rasco as they go to jump to second. Briar Hill, the inside of Behemoth. Landing third was Molly Connors, ahead of Foss Island and El Sorrow, and then Rasco. Behind them in mid-division is Jazz Concerto, and then Pour It On. Redwood Boy next, towards the back in the early stages, 14. As they clear that third flight and head to the end of the back straight, the leader by over a length. Now Briar Hill bowling along ahead of Behemoth. El Sorrow has pulled his way up on the outside to be just third, with on the inside Molly Connors, a length and a half away, then Foss Island with Jazz Concerto. Rasco is on their inside, followed by Pour It On as they head on to the next, flight number 4. Briar Hill, Behemoth in second, El Sorrow towards the outside shares third spot with Molly Connors, and they're tracked towards the next by Jazz Concerto and then Foss Island as they jump the flight before the straight. Briar Hill by less than a length. Behemoth second, El Sorrow up the outside of Molly Connors. Jazz Concerto tracks them with Foss Island. Rasco towards the inside. And they're followed around the turn by Pour It On. 1466 is behind them as they head to the elbow in the straight, bringing them on to the flight in front of the stands. Over on the rail, the odds-on favourite Briar Hill with Behemoth in second. Towards the outside with the noseband El Sorrow. Tracking them towards the rail is Molly Connors as they come to jump this 6th flight. And as they rise at it, Briar Hill leads, Behemoth, El Sorrow the outside. Molly Connors and Jazz Concerto are next, followed towards the turn by Foss Island on the stand side, on the rail in the green and white Rasco. Pour It On next.
And just to remind you, Lingfield coming up very shortly, the 1250 Couloir Extreme, the 6-4 favourite there. Back to see if Briar Hill can continue to jump as well as he's done on the first circuit.
About to head uphill to flight number 7, Briar Hill. Going along in front of Behemoth towards the outside second, El Sorrow. Molly Connors the inner, just behind him Jazz Concerto. Making a little headway on the outside in mid-division is Pour It On as they head away from that flight and head to the turn. It'll bring them across the far side with 5 to jump. Briar Hill by almost a length and a half, Behemoth in second. Molly Connors on the inside of El Sorrow. Jazz Concerto a length and a half away, then Pour It On Rasco. Away from that flight, Briar Hill continues to show the way, about 2 lengths in front. Behemoth, Molly Connors close on the inside, El Sorrow 4, Rasco 5, Jazz Concerto, then Pour It On. And behind them, driven along, is Foss Island as they jump the 4th last flight and continue towards the end of the back straight. Briar Hill stretching on, almost 4 in front now. Behemoth second, Molly Connors, El Sorrow, then Rasco and Jazz Concerto as they head across towards the next flight, which will be 3 from home. Briar Hill leads by over 4 lengths. Molly Connors in second. Behemoth, Rasco, Jazz Concerto is behind them. As they head on now with 2 to jump, they're on the approach to the straight. Briar Hill leads, chased by Molly Connors. Rasco third, a break of a few lengths to Jazz Concerto. Away from the second last, Briar Hill. Rasco has improved up on the outside of Molly Connors. They're clear of Jazz Concerto. And behind them, Hellcat Maggie. They head to the 2 furlong point. Good run before they meet their final flight, and then a short run here. And Briar Hill out in front. Molly Connors, Rasco in third. They're clear of Jazz Concerto and Hellcat Maggie as they round the elbow and head for the final flight. The leader, Briar Hill, from Molly Connors second, Rasco back in third. As they near the final flight, Briar Hill and Ruby Walsh out in front and clear. At the last, Briar Hill over safety and clear. Molly Connors second. Briar Hill, winner of the Champion Bumper at Cheltenham, makes a winning start over flights. Briar Hill wins it from Molly Connors, Rasco, Jazz Concerto, and 5th spot for Hellcat Maggie.